Is it really that big of a deal to not have a methodology when you first start homeschooling? Well, as somebody who's spent the first 2 years of her life homeschooling without one, I can tell you, yes, it is so important to have a methodology. And I'm going to talk to you today about 4 reasons why you want to make sure you choose a methodology before you start homeschooling. And if you already are homeschooling, then these are reasons why you may want to press pause on your homeschooling and figure out a methodology to align with for the rest of your homeschool adventure. Because in doing so, you are going to make your homeschooling life so much easier. I'm Allison Morrow, homeschool coach and founder of goodschooling.net. And across the board, with all of the clients that I have worked with over the years, one of the things that has made the biggest difference in everyone's homeschooling experience is aligning with a methodology. And the first and probably most important way that having a homeschool methodology makes your whole experience easier is that it makes it so much easier to choose curriculum. What a lot of people don't realize is that curriculum is written to align with a particular methodology. And so if you have started your homeschool and just kind of dove into choosing curriculum because it was something that sounded good, or, well, this is what your neighbor uses, or you saw a really good review, well, that's all fine and good. But if that curriculum does not align with your values, with your priorities, with the way that you want to homeschool your kids, then it doesn't matter how good of a fit it is for other people, it's not going to work for you. But if you have a methodology already aligned in your homeschool, then you can automatically knock a ton of options out of the running when you start looking for curriculum. And that way, when you do look at curriculum, you're going to have a much smaller pool of options, and it's going to be so much easier to find something that's going to be a really good fit. The second way that having a homeschool methodology in mind is going to make homeschooling so much easier is in how it gives you a framework for your day. I get emails all the time. I actually just got one yesterday from someone saying, what is your routine? Like, what do you do in your homeschool coach? And I had to tell her, gosh, I would love to tell you, just do this. But just because that works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you, because you and I don't necessarily follow the same methodology. But when you have a methodology in mind, it's going to help you figure out what is the most important thing to do with our time every day. What are the ways that we can break our day down so that we're fitting in all of the things that we want to do but not getting burned out? What is the best way to approach this with my child, this with my child? All stuff that we would eventually have to figure out anyway. But when you already start out with a methodology in place, it kind of makes those decisions for you. And so you already know going in what kind of a basic approach to your day should look like. And then it's just a matter of kind of tailoring things from there. The third way that having a homeschool methodology already in mind can make things so much easier is how it gives you a roadmap for your whole homeschool adventure. When you first start, a lot of times you're not necessarily thinking about the long term. You've maybe started because your child was really struggling in school this past year and you want to build up their confidence and work on some skills before you put them back in. But then you suddenly find, gosh, this works a lot better for us. I think we're going to keep doing this. Or maybe you started because of the pandemic and you weren't really thinking beyond that point, but you're realizing that now this is just such a better system for your family. And so you never really gave all that much thought to where exactly you're going with your homeschool. But when you find a methodology that you really resonate with, it helps you to kind of align all of your thoughts, all of your beliefs about education and what you want for your child, and it gives you a trajectory to follow so that you don't have to start trying to figure out, okay, well, what are we going to do next? And what are we going to do after that? And where are we going with this? You have a roadmap that says this is where you're going. Just keep following this. Do this today to this next year. Follow this path, and you will find yourself where it is that you wanted to go. And then the fourth way that having a methodology can help you with your homeschooling is that it helps you find your tribe. There are tons of homeschoolers out there, right? Way more this year than there have ever been. But everybody homeschools a little bit differently, right? And you might have already found that it can be kind of hard to find people who think about homeschooling the same way you do. But when you have a methodology in place, and you use that to find other people who homeschool that same way, it gives you kind of this built-in camaraderie, this built-in vocabulary and language that you all speak together. And it gives you a community that you can bond with and that you can also go to for advice when things aren't working. If you are a Charlotte Mason homeschooler and you go ask a conventional homeschooler for advice, the advice they give you is not going to help you because they have such different values and such a different view of what homeschooling should be. And then the same thing in the opposite direction. If you're a conventional schooler, but you go to like an unschooler for advice, it's going to be like they're speaking a different language. You're not even going to understand, like, what on earth are they talking about? Why would I homeschool that way? But if you find other people who homeschool with the same methodology you do, then you know already that everybody has kind of the same, not necessarily exactly the same, but the same basic idea of what homeschooling should look like, what reasons even maybe that you have for homeschooling, and what you want your homeschool to look like. And so you're not going to get advice that's contradictory to what you're trying to do, and you're going to have people who understand what it's like to homeschool in this way and to come across the same kind of particular maybe struggles or obstacles that they have come across, and they're going to be able to help you much more easily and in a way that is going to resonate with and dovetail with what you want your homeschool to be like. Now, you may be asking yourself, what the heck is a methodology? What even does that mean? If you don't have a methodology yet and you kind of have no idea what I'm even talking about, then you definitely want to check out the article that I've written. It's lays out all of the different methodologies and kind of gives you an overview of each one to kind of help you not only see which one you may want to align with, but to also broaden your horizons and help you to see all of the different ways that kids can learn, all of the different ways that you can structure your homeschool. So everybody loves a good quiz, right? Well, we have a Methodologies quiz that you can take that will help you figure out which category you fall into. At Good Schooling, we tend to take all of the various methodologies and we group them into categories because a lot of times people will take some values from this particular methodology and from this particular methodology, but they all tend to be kind of in the same family of educational philosophy. So when you take this quiz, it's going to help you figure out which of those categories do you fall into, which can then help you figure out, well, which methodologies should I start researching? Which one should I start with? Start with the ones in your category, and that's going to help you much more quickly figure out which one is going to resonate with you and help you in your homeschool adventure. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was helpful. Please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you found this useful. I would love to continue helping you in your homeschool education. Remember that you can homeschool and Good Schooling can help. I'll see you again later. Take care, y'all. Bye.